Welcome to my views on news, another video for you. Firstly, an update, viewers. In the previous video, I spoke about detention of an Oromo intellectual and anthropologist, Dr. Gamacho Megarsa. He was arrested by security forces yesterday, but he has been released now. It has been confirmed, his family has confirmed that he has been released. Why was he arrested? So far, no clarity, no statement from the government, but Gamacho Megarsa has been released now. Now, some new stories. First one is from Somaliland, where we know that in November, presidential election is due to be held. Before that, opposition and government are confronting each other. Opposition has been accusing Musi Abdi, the president, that he was not interested in holding election on time and he was interested in securing extension in his term. Now today, Election Commission in Somaliland made an announcement. Election Commission seems to be saying that extension should be granted to Musi Abdi, though not directly. We have details for you. Secondly, viewers, Colonel Dejene he is a colonel of Ethiopian National Defense Force. There are two colonels by the name of Colonel Dejene. One was killed a few days ago, and I reported when he was buried in SNNPR. There is another Colonel Dejene Tsegaye. If you remember, in November 2020, when this war started, around 7 days before Mekelle came under the control of ENDF, a colonel talked to the media and he warned Mekelle residents that they could be killed by shelling. They should not support TPLF. He threatened people of Mekelle. And since then, we've been hearing that he had been killed. Now, state-backed news sources are sharing details about Colonel Dejene Tsegaye. Is he alive or not? If he is alive, where is he performing? Where is he working? And lastly, viewers, Oromo Liberation Army today issued a statement. It has taken control of 7 districts in the last 1 month. Since the start of Tigray, Ethiopia, Eritrea war on the 24th of August, OLA, this third phase of war, OLA has made considerable gains. Details have been shared by OLA. Where are the 7 districts located in central, southern or western Oromia? Details for you. First, it was Somaliland, where presidential election is due to be held in November, on the 13th of November, but we have seen demonstrations by opposition parties, UCID and Wadani. They have been protesting. They say that Musi Abdi does not want to hold election on time. He wants extension. And we saw demonstrations in Hargeisa, other parts of Somaliland. There was fighting, clashes between security forces and opposition protesters. A few weeks ago, several were killed too. There are disputes over registration of new political parties, constitution of election commission too. Today, Somaliland's election commission issued a statement. The election commission says it is unable to hold election on time in November. It cannot hold election on the 13th of November. It needs at least 9 months to make all preparations. 9 months starting from October. It means elections will only be possible after June 2023. Musibai Abdi's term is going to expire in November. It means that he will be given extension by the parliament. Now, what will opposition do now when Election Commission has made it clear that it needs 9 months? Will opposition parties agree to Musibai Abdi's extension? Will they launch some new protests? That remains to be seen. What was this election commission doing for the last 4 years? Why couldn't it complete preparations for the holding of this election? It knew that opposition and government were clashing, they were in disagreement, and there were protests ongoing. Why is that commission did not make preparations on time? There are several questions which this commission should answer. We're waiting for official response from opposition parties, UCID and Wadani. How are they seeing this announcement from National Election Commission of Somaliland? That remains to be seen. I think Musibai Abdi will be granted extension for at least 6 months, it seems. Secondly, viewers, 2 days ago, we reported about the death of an ENDF Colonel Tamra Dejene, member of Ethiopian National Defense Force, killed on some front. He was laid to rest. He was buried in SNNPR around 2 days ago. His death has been confirmed because we shared pictures of his funeral gathering there. Another colonel by the name of Dejene is Colonel Dejene Tsegaye, and we have been seeing posts, reports being shared by some pro-Tigray news sources mostly that Colonel Dejene Tsegaye is also dead. Who is Colonel Dejene Tsegaye? He is the colonel who threatened Mekelle residents in November 2020. A week before the fall of Mekelle, he delivered a speech. He talked to media. He said that till the shells could hit civilians in Tigray too, in Mekelle too, so they should distance themselves from TPLF. So it was a threat for the people of Mekelle from this colonel. Since then, we've been hearing rumors that he has been killed. But information is now being shared by some pro-government news sources and pro-government government-backed news outlets that Colonel Dejene Tsegaye is not dead. He is alive. Rewardly, he is working for a Southern Command. He's part of Southern Command of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Ethiopian state media is rejecting the news regarding the death of Colonel Dejene Tsegaye, but no rejection regarding the news of death of Colonel Tamra Dejene, who was buried in SNNPR just 2 to 3 days ago. Lastly, viewers, Oromo Liberation Army OLA has made considerable territorial gains, it seems, since the start of war in northern Ethiopia. Today, Oromo Liberation Army shared details claiming it has taken control of 7 districts in the last 1 month or so. We know that Ethiopian National Defense Force was conducting an operation against OLA in Oromia before the start of this 3rd phase of war in northern Ethiopia on the 24th of August. After the war started, ENDF was relocated from Oromia to Tigray to Amhara. Now, only Oromia Special Force, Oromia Regional Force are conducting operations against OLA, but it seems OLA is bouncing back now. It is regaining lost territories and new territories as well. 7 districts taken by OLA are mostly in western Oromia, which is OLA's stronghold, Walega, Horogodoro. The 7 districts are firstly the Remo, which is in Illuababora. Secondly, Harolemo in East Walega. Limo Galila, again East Walega. Maka in Bonobadale. Dabahana Bolo Badale and Chavaka Bono Badale too, and lastly Babo Gamble, which is in West Valaga. So all these 7 districts are in western part of Oromia, which has been a traditional stronghold of Oromo Liberation Army. OLA says that it has deployed interim administration there. Public services are not being disrupted, and public services are being provided to the people of these 7 districts. So it means that the administrators in these 7 districts are now appointed by Oromo Liberation Army. In 2 districts, counteroffensives were launched by government forces in Harolimo and Chavaka, but the area is still under OLA. So this is what is happening in West Valaga. What about in southern and central parts of in West Oromia? What is happening in southern and central parts of Oromia? Here OLA says that it has destroyed military camps of government forces. No claim about territorial gains in central and southern Oromia. In southern Oromia, OLA says it has dismantled military camps in Malka Soda and in Gumi Eldalo. In Central Oromia, it has destroyed military camps in Ambo and Ifata. So in southern and central parts of Oromia, OLA's gains are mainly in terms of taking control of some military camps or inflicting losses on government forces. But in West Valaga, they have taken control of territories. They are appointing their administrators there. It means that OLA is now state within a state. It is running governments in western part of Oromia. And all these 7 districts were taken in just 1 month, between the 20th of August and 23rd of September, where they took control of these 7 districts. So if this war goes on in northern Ethiopia, it means that OLA will have more room to make advances, to make territorial gains in Oromia, especially in western Oromia. Government Communication Ministry of Ethiopia today issued a statement condemning civilian killings in Horogodoro. Government said that Shine killed several civilians in Horogodoro, Oromia, and Shine was carrying out attacks to disrupt the upcoming holidays, disrupt the celebrations of Ericha and Meskel. But government says that it is taking action against Shine, and one of their commander was killed. After that, OLA took revenge and it attacked civilians in Horogodoro. No details about the name of the commander and how many civilians were killed in Horogodoro. But in Horogodoro, there was some escalation 2 days ago. So OLA is indirectly taking advantage of war in northern Ethiopia, while ENDF is now busy in northern Ethiopia fighting Tigray forces. OLA is making territorial gains, and if it starts moving, which it is trying to do from western Oromia towards central Oromia, we could see OLA penetrate Amhara region as well. We could see it move into North Shore zone and Oromia special zone of Amhara region, especially if Tigray forces manage to move towards Dasi from Wuldia. I think for watching.